Now, there's a big new hit on Trump regarding Kamala, assuming Kamala is the Democrat nominee. Here's the big hit. Ready? Here's the big Oppo research. Donald Trump donated to Kamala. He did. I guess he did. From 2011 to 2013, Trump gave $6,000 to Harris's reelection campaign for California Attorney General. And his daughter gave a little money too. Okay, that's the best they got. Of course Trump donated to her. She was an attorney general of a big state. And Trump does business everywhere, and he has bragged for decades about buying off politicians. This line of attack, I can't even imagine the Democrats are foolish enough to try to use it. This line of attack is the exact same line of attack they used in 2016 when they said, Trump donated to Hillary. And Trump flipped that attack back on them. He said, yeah, Hillary can be bought. I bought her. I bought politicians on both sides of the aisle. I'm an outsider. I know how the political system works. I've used the political system. I know all these people. I had them in my pocket. And it was an effective line. So I can't imagine the Harris campaign is going to want to use this. Because it is not only pretty much as effective as it was in 2016 against Hillary. It shows that Kamala didn't have money. She could be bought, and Trump gave her money. It also highlights similarities between Kamala and Hillary Clinton. Both terrible retail politicians. Both seemed to credit some of their political rise, at least to men in their orbit. Let's put it diplomatically and politely. Neither has any particular accomplishments under their belt. Maybe one or two here or there, but still not. They're really being graded on a curve if they're being considered presidential material. The only difference, I guess, is that Hillary was more widely hated because Hillary was more widely known for a longer period of time. Many people, probably most people, don't even really know who Kamala Harris is. But that is a fear for the Democrats. They are running a woman who in many ways resembles the last candidate to lose to Trump. They replaced a guy who can claim to have beaten Trump with someone who is much closer to the woman who lost to Trump than the guy who ostensibly beat him. So lots of people are miffed about the Kamala choice. Lots of Democrats are miffed about the Kamala choice, and a lot of Republicans. I'm a little miffed about it. The GOP had built a campaign against Joe Biden, and then the Democrats cleverly switched at the last minute. And I don't think it changes the fundamentals of the race, but it is going to make it harder for Republicans to pivot. The other guy who's really irritated is JD Vance, because JD Vance really wanted to debate Kamala Harris.
By the way, speaking about takebacks, I was told I was going to get to debate Kamala Harris, and now President Trump's going to get to debate her. I'm kind of pissed off about that, if I'm being honest with you.
Now, speaking, look, if I were JD Vance, I would be pretty miffed too. Could you imagine? That debate would have just been so absolutely magnificent. People have pointed out that JD's wife, Usha, is also of Indian descent. So JD has this special talent for resolving conflicts with Indian women, as any married man will know. It's good, when you have discussions with your wife, sometimes there are disagreements that can help. So all sorts of jokes about this, including being made by JD Vance. But it does off-foot the Republicans. We don't know who she's going to pick for her VP. It does require a change in campaign strategy. The Democrats are clever. They will go to any lengths to win. They will change all the voting rules in the lead up to an election to give themselves an advantage if they think they're not going to win otherwise. They'll advocate locking the whole country down if they think it'll give them an advantage. They'll boot out the sitting president of the United States. They will kick him off his own presidential ticket over his strenuous objections. They'll send him to his home in Rehoboth Beach and lock him up if they think it'll give them any advantage. So JD is ticked off. The Wall Street Journal purports to have the secret to getting ahead. And it is apparently Riz. R-I-Z-Z, cool Zoomer slang for charisma, Riz. Is Riz the secret to getting ahead at work? Whether you call it charisma, charm, or magnetism, some people seem like naturals. Good news, it can be learned. So I'm going through this article, and the thrust of it, I won't read it in verbatim, but the thrust of it is you need to be approachable and relatable. You need to recognize that everyone's important. You're not just nice to the people ahead of you who you're trying to suck up to and impress. You got to be nice to everybody, even the low people. Even anybody. You got to be nice to them, and you got to remember their names and aspects of their life, and then they're going to like you, and then you're going to get promoted. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the whole article. It is, if you've ever read the most famous self-help book of the last 100 years, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's by Dale Carnegie. You've gotten that. You read that book. I read it because it was so prominent. I said, okay, I guess I'll read this book. I'm not really a big fan of the self-help genre, but sure, why not? I'll read it. And it basically comes down to be nice and learn people's names. That's it. But here's the key, and this is something that the Wall Street Journal, I think, is missing here. And then a lot of self-help books and a lot of hustler gurus and, Sigma grind said, here's how you get ahead, guys. Here's what they miss. You can't fake it. You can't fake it. People write into the show a lot, and not even in terms of how to get ahead at work. They'll write into the show on how to ask a woman out on a date or how to impress a woman on a date. And my answer is always, you have to like them. You should like them, and you should be interested in them and what they have to say. And they will like that. But you can't fake it. It has to be sincere. This is good advice. This is good, especially the advice of be nice to everybody. There was an old line I remember back when I was a young man working in show business. You always hear, be nice to the people on your way up because you're going to see the very same people on your way down. There's another image, comes from the Middle Ages and has been transported to network primetime television, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Lady Fortuna just spins her wheel. And sometimes you're at the top, but then sure, if you're at the top, for certain, you're going to go back down to the bottom again. And if you're at the bottom, that's very unpleasant. But one consolation is the only place you can go is up. And that's just how it works in the tribulations and vicissitudes of this life. That's where you are. And so you're going to see the same people, and you got to be nice so that they don't hate you. And so maybe they'll even help you on your way up or on your way down. That's good advice. But you can't fake it. People will know if you're faking it. People will know if you're using them as instruments and tools for your own self-aggrandizement. People can sniff that out. People aren't stupid. People can tell when you're flattering them, and everyone hates a flatterer. It's got to be sincere. So then what's the advice? What's the secret to getting ahead? Is it rizz? Is it flattery? Is it hustling? Is it this? Is it that? No, what all this really comes down to is practicing virtues. That's what it is. How do you get ahead? You are courteous to people. You are prudent in your speech and your actions. You are just. You treat people as they ought to be treated. Maybe you show a little grace and mercy sometimes if people screw up. You care about others. You're not only focused on yourself, but you're actually interested in other people because man is a social creature. You just do the right thing. That's the secret to getting ahead. Wow, breaking news story, headline. Can I write an essay in the Wall Street Journal about this? That's it, because every time you try to cheat it or find a shortcut, people are going to notice it. It can be learned. The rizz can be learned, but it's not going to be learned from some hustler or some pimp or someone trying to give you a shortcut to get ahead. Rizz can be learned by practicing the moral and intellectual virtues. That's how it's going to be learned. That was a good clip, huh? We would all agree. Now, maybe ring the bell, subscribe like 2 million other people. We'll see you next time.